Okay, look. If you're like us, being a Giants fan right now, it's just profound disappointment, plain and simple.
Yeah. Sitting here at 2-8, staring into the abyss, it's rough.
It's inexcusable. That record is absolutely inexcusable, but honestly, I am relieved ownership finally did something. Hit the reset button.
Well, yeah. The news hitting. Brian Daboll at his head coach. That felt inevitable.
Totally. Mike Kafka steps up as interim. Okay. But keeping Joe Schoen as GM, I just don't get that part. We'll get into that.
Right. That's kind of the mission today, isn't it? To unpack what this move actually signals. Felt sudden, but maybe not shocking. That makes sense.
Not shocking at all after that last game.
We've dug into the reports, the whispers, and the message seems pretty clear. The results, the way things looked on the sideline, the composure, it just wasn't there.
Not even close.
This wasn't lining up with what ownership kept selling us. They had to make a move. They had to protect the future.
And let's be clear, that future's Jackson Dart, number 3. He's the only bright spot this season.
Absolutely. The excitement around him is real. You can feel it.
But the trigger for firing Daboll, another fourth quarter collapse, which honestly felt like Groundhog Day every single week. So frustrating.
Week after week.
But the big thing, the really worrying thing, was Dart getting concussed in that last game. That was the alarm bell.
That had to be it. That just screamed that the process wasn't protecting the most important guy on the field, our guy.
Exactly. You can't keep telling New York fans we're close when the whole operation just face plants in the fourth quarter again.
You're not close. You're buffering, like bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. Buffering. And that failure, that inability to finish, to keep it professional under pressure, that's why Daboll's gone. Thank goodness.
Right. That systemic breakdown cost him the job.
Okay, so let's talk about this Daboll paradox thing the reports mentioned, because I know fans are confused. We saw that playoff win in 2022. It happened.
Yeah, there were highs.
But 2-8 is 2-8. I'm glad he's out, but how did we get from that high to this low?
Well, that's the paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
He clearly had some schematic brilliance. He could design plays.
Sometimes, yeah.
But he totally failed on the stuff above the X's and O's. The process, the professionalism, the game management mechanics. That's where it fell apart.
The game management, painful.
The case against him, based on the sources, it's pretty overwhelming. You see the record trending down after 22, then just failure after failure in managing the game.
Burning timeouts like they were going out of style. It drove me crazy.
Exactly, like scratch-off tickets, just desperate gambles instead of having a plan, a sequence.
And the optics, the sideline stuff, it looked bad.
Oh, it was bad. The reports mentioned the specifics. Getting fined for the blue tent thing, the headset drama playing out in public.
Embarrassing.
And just this general feeling that the staff was constantly on edge, walking on eggshells. That stuff matters.
Which one do you think hurt him the most inside the building? The blue tent, the headset theatrics, the staff feeling tense? Because from the outside, it all looked kind of childish.
Good question. The headset stuff looked terrible publicly, but internally, probably the staff churn and just that feeling of instability. When you hear whispers that veteran players are starting to mutter, accountability starts at the top.
Oh, yeah.
And they see the sideline just descending into chaos late in games. You lose the locker room fast. You lose credibility.
Okay, but fair's fair. We got to acknowledge the other side of the paradox. He wasn't all bad.
No, definitely not. Schematically, he did some impressive things. Remember 2022? How they shifted on a dime?
Yeah, the TE heavy stuff, then suddenly quick game, RPOs.
Shape-shifting is a good word for it, and crucially, his plans did help accelerate Jackson Dart's development. Let's give credit there.
Absolutely. Dart looked better than anyone expected early on.
Yeah, push the offense towards middle of the pack scoring, even with Neighbors out, Thomas banged up, key guys missing. That's not nothing.
So if I'm boiling it down, tell me if this is too simple. He was like an amazing playwright, but a terrible director, couldn't manage the actual show.
That's actually, that's a great way to put it. Or the restaurant analogy works too.
Yeah.
Fantastic brunch menu, creative dishes. But the kitchen keeps failing the health inspection because the basic operations, the details, the process, it's a mess.
And failing that inspection in the fourth quarter every week gets you fired.
That's exactly why he's out.
Yeah.
The inability to manage the details when it mattered most.
Okay, so if process was Daboll's downfall, then Mike Kafka stepping in.
Yeah.
His mandate has to be the polar opposite, right?
Yeah.
How does he even start fixing this?
Stabilization. That's job one. Calm things down. Communicate clearly.
Okay.
And the immediate priority, number one with a bullet, protect the Dart protection plan.
Please.
Our sources are crystal clear. That's the absolute top item on Kafka's checklist for these last 7 games.
Good. After seeing Dart go down, I'm seriously worried about his health long term. We cannot mess this up.
Kafka has to structure the calls differently. Avoid those hero ball hits where Dart's taking unnecessary shots.
Teach him to slide. Throw it away. Live to fight another down.
Discipline. That's the word. Slide discipline. Throwaway discipline. And just strict adherence to the health protocols, obviously. That's paramount now.
Beyond just keeping Dart upright, what else is on this Kafka checklist?
He needs to bring in that checklist culture Daboll just didn't seem to have. Like laminated cards on the sideline kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Pre-planned sequences for the 4-minute offense, the 2-minute drill, a clear decision tree for timeouts, a clock management matrix everyone understands. The basics.
Yes. Thank you. And can we please talk about special teams? Punt coverage matters. Daboll seemed to ignore it. I need discipline there too.
You're absolutely right to hammer that point. Field position. It's killed them.
It has.
The analysis we saw, poor punt coverage directly led to like 17 points for opponents in the last 3 losses, just handing them points. It's systemic. Got to fix it now.
Okay, now here's where my Giants fan cynicism kicks into high gear. Kafka's auditioning, sure, but let's be real, it'd take a miracle for him to keep the job long term.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
The odds are long.
But the real head scratcher for me is this. We fire Daboll partly because the defense kept collapsing late.
Right. A major factor.
Yet we keep GM Joe Schoen, who built the roster. And we keep defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, whose unit was on the field for those collapses. Make it make sense.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? That contradiction is what everyone's pointing to.
It feels completely backward.
Look, if Bowen is staying, and clearly he is, then the defensive process has got to change immediately. No excuses.
Like, what specifically needs to change on D?
The reports outline some non-negotiables. They need to drill like 10 to 12 trusted 2-minute defensive calls until guys can run them in their sleep. No thinking, just reacting.
Okay, muscle memory.
Drastic improvement needed on run fits, setting the edge. Stop letting teams just bleed the clock on the ground late in games.
It's been infuriating to watch.
And they have to figure out coverages to protect the weak spots. Specifically, that second cornerback spot. Teams are just targeting it relentlessly. You got to scheme around it.
Yeah. You just cannot be that soft defensively when you have a lead late in the game. It's coaching malpractice. But all right, why did ownership keep Schoen? They must see something positive, right? To justify keeping the guy who oversaw this 2-8 mess.
Well, according to the sources, there are positives they're clinging to. He has apparently modernized the scouting department, brought in some new processes there.
Oh.
The salary cap situation, it finally starts looking much better in 26-27. So the next coach theoretically has financial flexibility. That's a selling point. And he has drafted some cornerstone pieces. You've got Dart, obviously. Andrew Thomas when healthy. Dexter Lawrence. Malik Neighbors looks like the real deal. That's a young core to build around.
Fine, but the negatives are huge, and this is why I just don't trust this decision. Reports mention this overly rosy self-evaluation within the building.
Okay, that's a concern.
The depth is terrible, especially run defense and cornerbacks. We just talked about it. And way too many draft picks haven't panned out yet. Stalled development.
And that's the gamble. That's the calculated risk ownership is taking by keeping Schoen.
It feels less calculated and more desperate.
Maybe. But the thinking is, if Schoen hits a grand slam with this next head coach hire,
big if,
and that coach unifies everything, gets offense and defense pulling the same rope, then maybe the franchise resets quickly on the back of that young core.
But the risk, what if he misses? What if he hires the wrong guy?
That's the nightmare scenario. You waste Jackson Dart's rookie contract years. You put our potential franchise QB through maybe 3 different systems, 3 different coaching staffs before he even gets a second contract. That's how you ruin a young quarterback.
But hang on, is keeping Schoen actually more dangerous than just cleaning house? Doesn't keeping him send a message that, like, 2-8 is kind of acceptable as long as the scouting reports look nice on paper?
It definitely signals they value continuity on the personnel side, for better or worse. But yeah, the risk gets amplified. Because as coaching hire, it's entirely on Schoen now.
100%.
If this next coach fails, you can't blame Daboll anymore. It falls squarely on Schoen. And then you're not talking about a 2-year setback. You might be looking at 5 more years of rebuilding from scratch, having completely squandered Dart's crucial early development window.
It's terrifying, honestly. So, okay, this coaching search is everything. What do candidates need to hear from Schoen? What are the absolute must-haves for the next head coach?
Candidates walking in that door are going to have 2 huge questions right off the bat. Number 1, Do I get final say on my coaching staff? Full stop.
Has to be yes. No wishy-washy answers.
Exactly. If there's any hint of meddling, like some reports suggested with Daboll, the best candidates will just walk away. They saw what happened.
Okay, what's question 2?
What is our defensive philosophy? Not just vague ideas.
Yeah.
Specifics. What front structure are we running? What's our pressure identity? What type of defensive back are we prioritizing in the draft and free agency? They need a clear vision.
It really feels like it boils down to finding a grown-up, a real process adult, someone who won't melt down on the sideline and knows how to actually manage a game.
That's probably the biggest non-negotiable, yes. A process adult, calm sideline, repeatable end game plans, a structure from Monday to Saturday that actually works and builds confidence, not chaos.
Seems basic, but apparently wasn't.
Second thing, they need a staff architect, someone with a clear defensive identity in mind and the connections, the network, to go out and hire the right coaches to implement that specific vision.
Okay, wait, let me push back a bit. Is process adult really number 1? Isn't that just like the bare minimum to be an NFL head coach? Shouldn't QB development, protecting and nurturing Dart be the single most important thing?
It should be the bare minimum, you're right. But clearly it wasn't happening consistently. But your point on QB pedagogy is critical. It's right up there, they're intertwined. You need that process adult so that the QB pedagogy can actually work. The new coach absolutely must protect Dart's development.
Yeah.
Clear communication in the huddle, simplified reads, structured progressions. Don't overload the kid.
Right.
But if you have the best QB guru in the world and the team's getting 15 penalties a game and the defense gives up points every time they touch the field late, QB is going to fail anyway. The process enables the teaching.
Okay, that makes sense. Process enables pedagogy. And finally, please, can we hire someone who understands what a 4-minute offense actually is?
Yes. The finisher.
I am so sick of watching them run the ball 3 times into a stacked box, punt, and give the other team the ball back with time left. That's not finishing.
No. 4-minute offense means getting first downs to kill the clock, not just running 3 predictable plays hoping the clock runs out. It means closing the game. That's winning football.
Exactly. That's the difference.
So wrapping this up, Brian Daboll could draw up some plays, no doubt. But he got sunk by everything else. The process, the professionalism, the finish, the stuff above the call sheet.
And the problems are still here. Schoen kept his job. Bowen kept his job.
And that's why this next hire is everything for Joe Schoen. He has to nail it. He needs a coach who brings a clear identity, especially defensively, to finally teach this team how to close out games.
As a fan, I'm still skeptical. Deeply skeptical of ownership, of Schoen making the right call here. It's a huge gamble. And the question you got to ask yourself is, what happens if they blow this?
The cost is potentially setting back the franchise years, and worse, derailing the career of Jackson Dart before it even gets started.
That's the fear. This new direction, whatever it is, it has to be about making sure this team doesn't just build leads anymore. It actually keeps them. We've waited way too long for that. Just wanted to say a massive thank you for tuning in to Big Blue Tea.
Absolutely. And, a huge shout out always to Black Freezy TV.
Oh, definitely.
For the fantastic programming, the production, everything that makes this possible.
Yep. Their work behind the scenes is just really appreciated.
It really is.
This has been Big Blue Tea.